हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
All able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu ji.
Okay, so we'll start then. Start with a new chapter, 5th chapter. This fan needed. This one. This one you can turn on. It makes a lot of sound. Yeah. So we'll start. मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we'll recite few verses from chapter number 5, studying from the text 1. Please repeat after me. Arjuna uvacha संन्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च संशसि यश्रेय एतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच संन्यास कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरा उभौ तयोस्तु कर्म संन्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते। ज्ञेयस नित्य सन्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न कांक्षति निर्दंडो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते। सांख्ययोगो पृथक् बाला प्रवदन्ति न पंडिता एकमास्थित संयोगम् उभयोर्विन्दते फलम्। यत्सांख्ये प्राप्यते स्थानम् तद्योगैरपि गम्यते। एकं सांख्यं च योगं च य पश्यति स पश्यति। संन्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयोगतः। योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा अचिरेणाधिगच्छति। योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते। नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित्। पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियर्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मणि आदाय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्ता करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्तात्मशुद्धये युक्तकर्मफलं त्यक्ता शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तकामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सुजाति प्रभु न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभु अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु दैत्यज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः येषामादित्यवत् ज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परम् तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तद्निष्ठा तत्परायणा गच्छन्ति पुनरावृत्तिम् ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषा विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि सुनीचैव स्वपाके च पंडिता समदर्शिना इहैव ते जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थितः न प्रहर्षेत् प्रियं प्राप्य न उद्विचेत् प्राप्य च प्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्बुद्धो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः बाह्यस्पर्शे स्वशक्तात्मा विन्दति आत्मनि यत् सुखम् स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम् अक्षयमश्नुते यैः संस्पर्शजा हि भोगा दुःखयोनेव एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तस्तेय न तेषु रमन्ते बुधा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। In the previous chapter, there were last two verses, which are the turning points, wherein Arjuna, after hearing that, took the meaning in a different way. Because of which, in the start of the fifth chapter, there was a confusion in the mind of Arjuna, and he speaks certain verses. So if we see verse number 41, it starts from Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. And somebody hears this Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. The Sanyasta word is used. Sanyasta means giving up. So when Arjuna thought, when he heard this Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam, Jnana Sanchinna Samshaya. So with the knowledge or a Jnana Yoga, Sanchinna Samshayam. Remove all the doubts. So he thought that with the knowledge, I have to remove all the doubts. And then what about Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam? So he thought that I have to give up the Sanyasta Karmanam. I have to give up the karma. So I have to give up the karma activities, and then with the sword of knowledge, remove all the doubts. That means not to fight. But real meaning of Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam means to be situated in a yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga, and give up the results of the karma. Being situated in a Nishkam Karma Yoga, one has to give up the results of the karma. So the Karmanam here means the results of the karma. So Sanyasta Karma, that is giving up the results of the karma. So being such situated, Atmavanta, situated in focusing on Atma, na karmani nibaddanti dhananjaya. One does not get binded by the karma, to the reactions of the karma. So that's the real meaning. But Arjuna took it in that way. That means not to fight, not to act, and be situated in Jnana. And then the very next verse, 42nd verse, which is the last verse of 4th chapter, Krishna says that Tasma, therefore, ajnana sambhutam vrit stam jnana asina atmana chitvaitvam samshayam yogam atista uttista bharata. Atista uttista bharata. Get up for fighting. So previous verse he thought Krishna is telling give up the activities, be situated in jnana. And now he's telling get up and fight. Looks like contradictory state. Therefore he starts 5th chapter. Arjuna says, Arjuna vacha sanyasam karmanam krishna punaryogam cha samshasi yashreyaitayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam sanyasam karmanam krishna. So you spoke about the sannyasam. Sannyas of what? Karmanam. That is karma sannyas. No? Giving up the activities. That is karma sannyas. So sannyasam karmanam Krishna. Hey Krishna, you spoke about the sannyasam karma in the 41st verse. Punaryogam cha samshasi. But again you glorified the yoga. Work. Attistu uttista bharata. Punaryogam cha samshasi. Yashreya etayorekam. Please tell me what is more beneficial. One thing that is beneficial. Because both things cannot be done. Isn't it? So, Yashreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Please tell me definitely what is more beneficial for me. Arjuna said, Oh Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce the work. And then again, you recommend work with devotion. So to the Nishkam Karma Yoga, Prabhupada takes it as a work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? In the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than the dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easy than the latter because being transcendental in nature, it frees one from the reaction. So we'll see that. But just summarizes what is being spoken in the 5th chapter. Now, he goes back and says that in the 2nd chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga or devotional service was also explained herein. So after giving the knowledge of the body and the soul, How to get off this material engagement? Because you have to see the soul, right? You give the knowledge of the body and soul, theoretical knowledge. But how do we see being situated in that? So how to get off this material engagement by buddhi yoga or devotional service, which also means nishkam karma yoga, was also explained there. If you see that verse 39 of the second chapter, uh, that up till now I have spoken to you about Sankhya Yoga, Buddhi Yogam Timam Shuddha, right? That verse. After that, he speaks about the Buddhi Yoga in the second chapter. So this is how he summarizes the second chapter. And then he says that in the third chapter, so in second chapter, what was introduced along with the Sankhya Yoga, which is the difference between the body and the soul, what was introduced was the Buddhi Yoga. Etam te abhita Sankhya Buddhi Yogam Timam Shunu. Up till now, I have spoken to you about Sankhya. That is the analytical knowledge about the difference between the body and the soul. Now, please hear about the Buddhi Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga, or devotional service. Right? That is working without attachment. So that is how second chapter he talks about. Then in the third chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. Okay? It is mentioned that person who is situated on the platform of knowledge, he no longer has any duty to perform. I think in third chapter, seventeenth verse. Yastu atmaratir eva syat atmatruptascha manava atmani eva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. Krishna spoke about Yastu Atmarati, somebody who is taking pleasure in the Atma. Atmarati, Eva Syat, Atma Truptascha Manava, and is satisfied in realizing Atma, seeing the Atma. Atmani Eva cha Santushta, is satisfied in Atma, see, in Atma realization. Tasya karyam na vidyate. For him, there is no work. Why? Because he got the result of seeing the Atma, relishing the Atma. For him, there is no work. He can leave that work. Right? So that is how in the third chapter and also in the 41st verse, Tasmat Tvam Indriyani Ado Niyamya Bharata Sabha Papmanam Prajati Enam Jnana Vijnana Nashanam. So in this way, third chapter it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. And in the fourth chapter, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminates in knowledge. I think 4.33, this is being spoken, wherein Dravya Yajna, better than Dravya Yajna is the Gyan Yajna. 3. Shreyan Dravya Mayad Yajna Gyana Yajna Parant. Of all kinds of Yajna. Because one has to work for what? Yajna for the pleasure of Lord. The 9th verse, it talks about 3.9, he spoke about Yajna Arthat Karmana Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. Yajna means sacrificial performances, or Yajna also means Vishnu. So one has to work for the pleasure of Vishnu. So Yajna Arthat Karmana Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. And then in this verse, in this chapter 4.33, it says that there are various kinds of Yajna which are performed. Like for a brahmachari, what is the Yajna? Yajna is control of the senses. And then he differentiates, or he gives the similarity to this control of the senses with the sacrificial performances. In sacrificial perform, he offers something in the fire. So he says, for a brahmachari who are staying in the ashram, they are generally control the senses, and they use their senses for what? For reciting the shlokas, studying the shastras. So they control their mind and use that in the reciting. So what they do is, so if we compare with the sacrificial performance, they offer their senses, words, eyes, nose, ear. They offer their senses in the fire of sense control. Right? So that is the yajna which is performed by brahmachari. From verse 24, 25, 4.85 it starts. So brahmacharis, they perform this yajna. Before that, it is mentioned that Demigod worshippers, they offer their resources, dravya. In what? In demigod worship, right? Demigod worship, they offer something. No? So if you compare it with the fire, sacrificial fire, they offer their dravya resources in the worship of the demigods, the fire of the worship of the demigod. Similarly, impersonalists, they offer themselves in the fire of Brahman because they want to lose the identity. They think that Brahman is all in all. They want to merge in Brahman. So they want to lose their identity. So that means they offer themselves or their identity in the fire of Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, Brahma realization. Right? So that is the kind of yajna performed by whom? Impersonalists. So if you see 25th verse. Deva epara, Deva, Devam evapare yagyam yogina paripasate. Deva yagya. So demigod worship. Right? Somebody performs that. And then Brahma agno apare yagyam yogina yagyena upajuvati. Brahma agno in Brahma Jyoti, in the fire of Brahma Jyoti, apare yagyam. Others, who are these others? Impersonalists. They offer themselves. That is one kind of, two kinds of yagya which is mentioned in 25th verse. And then in 26th verse, Prabhu, in 26th verse, there are again two kinds of yagya mentioned. One is for brahmachari, another is for grihastha. For brahmachari, shrotadini indriyani sarve. Just like hearing plus all other senses. Shrota adini. So all five kinds of senses, they offer it in the fire of sanyamya agnishu, in the fire of sense control. Shabdadin vishayananya. For the grihastha, shabdadin vishay. So vishay, that means sense object. They offer it in what? In the fire of sense control, in the fire of the senses. So they use the sense object by their senses. Grihastha are allowed, they are given license to use the sense object by their senses. So what they do? They offer the sense object into the fire of senses. How can that be a yajna? Enjoying sense object, can that be a yajna? Yes. But what kind of fire is that? Huh? Using the sense object into the senses, is it unrestricted or restricted? Restricted, right? So when it is said that using sense object in the fire in a restricted way, not in an unlimited way, right? Therefore, Bhagavad says there is a system of marriage in the society. Why there is a system of marriage? If if the sense object has to be used, then one can live in relationship with anybody as many as one want. Why settle with one person and that too with a system of marriage? Why it is there in all the religion? Because restriction has to be followed. So when somebody follows that restriction, that shows the yagya. That's a yagya. So Grasta uses their sense object. They use the sense object in the fire of senses, in a restricted way. Right? So we see the scripture says that Prabhupada says that because it's a general tendency or the need of the body that people in general they're involved in sense gratification, to restrict that the system is created about the marriage and all, right? And then please turn off your mobile, and then in that restricted way, when somebody does that, that is also a kind of yagya. So that is mentioned in 26th verse, and then 27th verse says that Sarvani indriyani karmani prana karmani chapare. So now he talks about the Patanjali yoga system wherein along with the Sarva Indriyani Karmani, just like in Brahmachari, Sarva Indriyani, all the senses are being controlled by the sense, all the sense objects are controlled in the fire of senses. Here, along with the sense control, there is also the control of the prana, breathing exercises. That is also being controlled, right? Atma Sanyamya Juvati Jnana Dipite. For the higher realizations, Patanjali Yoga people, they control their senses also with the prana, breathing exercises. That's how various yagyas are mentioned, which are told in 28 verse. Dravya, Jnana, Tapo Yagya. So Dravya, Jnana, Tapo Yagya. So three kinds of yagya. Dravya Yagya, wherein some resources are being given, like donations, annadan, this dan, that dan. So Dravya. Dravya Yagya, Tapo Yagya. or Dravya Yajna, Jnana Yajna. Jnana Yajna, wherein one understands, Jnana, receives the knowledge. That is also one Yajna. Tapo Yajna, Tapasya, Ekadashi Vrat, this Vrat, that Vrat, that is also Yajna. Yoga Yajna, eightfold yoga system, that is also one kind of Yajna. Tatha pare, Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna, Swadhyaya, trying to understand the scriptures from various angles, by reading, by hearing, by attending classes. So that is also Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna. Yataya Shamshita Vrataha. So those who are dedicated to performance of Yajna for whatever reasons, like demigod worship, they offer the Yajna for what purpose? To gain more material benefits. But others who generally perform the Yajna, they perform it for higher realization, for spiritual gain, right? That may be Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, or Bhagwan realization. Depends upon the performer of the Yajna, right? But ultimately, Prabhupada mentions that the Shastra says, ultimately all the Yajnas are meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu, right? But if somebody just performs demigod worship offering their dravya for the gain of higher, more dravya, it's on the material level. It does not lead to the spiritual benefits. But if somebody does it in a knowledge, understanding that I'm offering this for satisfaction of the demigods who are part of uh, the servants of Krishna, then that will lead to the knowledge, higher knowledge, spiritual gains. Somebody who directly knows that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, demigods are their part and parcel. And if I perform this Dravya Yajna for pleasure of Krishna in preaching mission, such way, that is also one kind of Yajna, which is like a Bhakti Yoga, right? So in that way, based on the performance of the performer, based on the performer, the results can be different in a higher levels, right? So then this verse 33, it says that Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajna, which is the highest Yajna. So Shreyan, better than Dravyamaya Yajna, Jnana Yajna Parantapa, which is the highest Jnana Yajna. What is that? Hearing about the knowledge about the Supreme Law, Jnana Yajna, Swadhyaya Jnana Yajna. So we saw, no? Hearing, gaining knowledge. It's easy to give donation. It is easy to give something, annadan and all. But then that should lead to what? What is the purpose of all the yajna? This line mentions, next line in 33rd verse. Sarva karma kilam partha jnane parisamapyate. All the karma, that is yajna. Yajna is born out of karma, right? Yajna karma samudbhava. Isn't it? We saw in that cycle. Yajna karma samudbhava. So sarva karma kilam partha. So all the activities, nishkam activities, where one does it, it should end in what? Jnane parisamapyate. All the yajna should lead into knowledge, and that knowledge differs based on the performer, right? But if they perform yajna, that is some sacrifice, it will lead to knowledge, higher and higher knowledge. And the highest of all the knowledge is Krishna, is the supreme person. Vadanti te tattva vidas tattvam yad jnana apvayam Brahmeti, Paramatmiti, Bhagwaniti Shabdyate. Somebody may reach to the by yajna to the Brahman realization. Others may reach to Paramatma realization. But then the highest realization, highest jnana is Bhagwan realization, where one understands the Supreme Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the one who expands himself as a Paramatma in each and every living entity, in each and every atom. And his Shakti as a Brahma Jyoti is prevailing in entire universe, in spiritual world. So that is the highest knowledge. So Sarva Karma Akilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. So coming back in the fourth chapter, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the fourth chapter, the Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight. 4.42. Wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of work in devotion and inaction in knowledge, because he told all the work should end in what? Knowledge. And when somebody is situated in knowledge, he does not have to work. So if knowledge is the goal, and when one is situated in knowledge, he does not have to work. Why should I work? I have got knowledge about you, Krishna. So why should I work? Somehow he missed that point. Even the one is situated in knowledge, if one continues to the work without attachment, then that one remains situated in that knowledge. That knowledge, one remains sthir in the knowledge. Otherwise, there is a chances that when somebody who gives up the work, then the tendency, some contamination may arise. At that time, a person, if not working selflessly, can take up to which work? Not a selfless lover. He will take up to the sense gratificatory work. Right? Chances are there. Not that it will happen, but because if one is not situated constantly on the Gyan platform, then that conditioning may arise. And when it arises, if one is not situated in a Nishkam Karma Yoga, which keeps one sthira in the knowledge, then he may fall down and take up to the sense gratification, which degrades more. Right? It's more dangerous. So therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in devotion and inaction in knowledge, Krishna perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Therefore, Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is the work stopped? In other words, he thinks that the sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activities, because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. Like somebody who is in renounced order, how is he working? People ask, आपने संन्यास ले लिया, job छोड़ दिया, as if like those who are working are not renounced. Right? If somebody is working in whatever way, without attachment, even if somebody is working, no, he's working means he is in Maya. That's the concept people have. As people who are working outside, they are in Maya. And those who have renounced, means they have taken up to Bhakti or some spirituality, means they are renounced. No, renounced means they have left the world. As if like in the temple, then what they are doing? See, that's the concept people generally have, that confusion. So Arjuna is placing such kind of confusion. He appears not to have understood that a work in full knowledge is non-reactive. Work in full knowledge is somebody works with understanding that all the works enjoyer is the Krishna and he selflessly works, then is non-reactive. That means the result is not applicable to him and is therefore the same as inaction. Such kind of action working is same as inaction. Inaction means what? No bondage of results. That is inaction. So he inquires therefore whether he should cease work altogether or work with full. That's how many times people when who come to join ashram, they said that Maharaj, सब छोड़ के अभी बस मंदिर में आना है, कुछ होगा क्या? वो बस व्यवस्था है. So leave everything and come in the temple. But when they come in the temple, when they join, they are given all the way more work. All different kinds of, right from starting morning, grooming the temple out at 4:20 till night back up. All the work is given. So they get a shock of life. I left everything so that I can focus on spirituality, and here they are giving all the way more work. How is that possible? Therefore, to absorb that shock, anybody who initially comes, they are asked first hear, come for the program and hear, gain the knowledge. What bhakti is. Come and hear. If they come and hear, they understand, they serve, they remain humble, they inquire in submissiveness, they render service, the mind gets purified, it results in the knowledge. Then they are asked to interact more in the association. If they are really more serious, want to seriously take up and showing the sign of renunciation from worldly activities, then they are told to uh, connect in a more serious way. So if there are young students who are like unmarried, they are told, okay, you come and stay in the center, one of the center where working professionals are staying together, which is called as a base or vice, right? Once they stay together, there are certain services involved where weekly programs are happening. Then Saturday, Sunday, they come to the temple. They get to know more about the system of devotional service, how to work in dedication to for the benefit of Krishna. So in that way, once they understand, yes, after staying for a few years in the base, they understand a devotional service means not like sab kuch tyagana, what has to be given up with the false ego that I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. In that way, then slowly, then they then they are ready to join, right? Wherein once they join, they know what is to be what is expected. Service. So devotional service, more and more service. So in that, in a seamless way, in a span of some time, then they can join it. So second verse, Krishna is now clearing what really sannyas or which is better. Yeah, please. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sannyasa Karma Yogasya Ishreyasya Karavau Tayostu Karma Sannyasa Karma Yogo Vishishyate Sannyasa Karma Yogasya. Cha means and. So sannyas and then Karma Yogasya. Which Karma Yoga? Nishkam Karma Yoga. Because that is the topic till the end of the sixth chapter. Nishkam Karma Yoga. So sannyasaha. Sannyasa means what? Karma sannyas. Right? Wherein, which is the necessity for the Jnana Yoga. Somebody who is performing the Jnana Yoga at a later stage, when he becomes detached, when he realizes the Atma, at that time there is no need for him to work, right? So he can take the karma sannyas. So sannyasa karma yogascha. Nishreyasa karaubho. Both of them are leading to the liberation. Both. Nishreyasa karaubho. They both give Shreya. What is the Shreya ultimate? Liberation. So both of them lead to the liberation. Nishreyasa karaubho. But tayostu karma sannyasa. But out of two, karma sannyasa. From the karma sannyas, karma yogo vishishyate. Vishesh. What is Vishesh? What is more better? From than karma sannyas, karma yoga. Now, what is the situation wherein? But why is that? Because ultimately, by Nishkam Karma Yoga, one has to gain knowledge. And then, once get the knowledge, understands, then that person does not have to work. Right? So, result is that. So, why is that better than Jnana Yoga or Sannyas Yoga? Why is the Karma Yoga, which is the starting phase, is important? Reason is, if in the second stage, when somebody gets little bit conditioning, then if that person is not situated in Nishkam Karma Yoga, then the chances are from that level, one may fall down to the sense gratification level. Therefore, if one is situated even in the Jnana Yoga, if that person performs without any attachment, Nishkam Karma Yoga, then what will happen? Even if that contamination comes, because of Nishkam Karma Yoga, that will go away. And person who is already in Jnana will remain fixed more on the Jnana platform. In that sense, it is better. Otherwise, both are leading to the same goal. Therefore, the personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and the work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service. Nishkam Karma Yoga, Prabhupada translated as a work in devotional service. Work in devotional service is better than the renunciation of work. Fruitive activities, that is sense gratification, are cause of material bondage. As long as one is engaged in the activities aimed at improving the bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to the different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. After this shloka, third para says, therefore, jnana or knowledge that one is not this material body but the spirit soul is not sufficient for liberation. I repeat, just the knowledge that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, is not sufficient for liberation. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from the material bondage. So in second chapter, the knowledge about the body and the soul, that is not enough. Therefore, buddhi yogam tamimam shunu. Situating yourself in the buddhi yogam, that is nishkam karma yoga, or devotional service. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the fruitive platform. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthens one advancement in the real knowledge. See, activities performed in full knowledge. Actually, when is in full knowledge, there is no need to work. But even when one performs activities in full knowledge, it strengthens one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of the fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of the conditioned soul. As long as heart is not purified, as long as heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action so that one need not descend to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to the renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling down. See, that's a risk of falling down. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhina vastuna mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu kathete. When persons engage eager to achieve liberation, renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is there anything which is not connected to Supreme Personality of Godhead? No, right? So if somebody renounces the thing related to Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is incomplete. Therefore, somebody showed photo of some sadhu with the money in the front and he's showing like this. Prabhupada said, bring that money now, like take my photo like this. What is that Prabhupada saying? To be attached? No, he said, no, this is connected with Krishna. This is Krishna's energy. Can be used in Krishna's service. That is the move. Renunciation is complete when it is in knowledge, and everything in existence belongs to the Lord, and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. See? Not claiming to the proprietor of everything. That is the real thing. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? If somebody says, you have renounced, nothing belongs to me, where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. So who is sannyasi? One who knows everything belongs to Krishna is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This person, this perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of a Mayavad school. This is the sannyasi of a Mayavad school. Because for them, the starting point is what? Take sannyas. then Jnana Yoga. Right? To perform that Jnana Yoga, one has to first take sannyas, which is very difficult, impossible to say. गेयस नित्य सन्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न कांक्षति निर्द्वंदो हि महाबाहो सुखम बंधात् प्रमुच्यते. So if somebody thinks that sannyasi means somebody who has renounced everything, wore a saffron robe, then that person is mistaken. Therefore, Krishna is telling, no. Who is a nitya sannyasi? Geyasa nitya sannyasi, yona dveshti na kankshati. One who does not envy, dvesh nahi karta hai, na kankshati. Do not desire, nor hate, nor desire. That means neither attached to something nor detached. Generally in this world, either we like something or we do not like something. Either based on our past impressions, we either like something. Oh wow, what a wonderful sabji. I love it. Either we attach to something or we, oh, I don't know, I don't want. Yeh kyun banaya sabji? So dveshti, you know. But sannyas means one who neither hates. So if he does not like, does not mean that, no, I should eat what I hate only, what I did not like. That is also not there in our Shastra. Huh? But one is not dejected by, anything comes, it's by the mercy of Krishna what has come. Right? So if he does not like, okay, he can see, is there any other vegetable? Right? Is there any other vegetable? If it's there, fine, I take that. Not that I don't, means I have to eat what I don't like. Because everything is a prasad, it's a mercy of Krishna. So with that understanding one acts. But if somebody who is like a kathor sannyasi, he will be like, this vegetable I don't like. Hey, don't say that. Eat what you don't like. Don't be attached. It's more of tapasya and all this kind of. That is kind of a harshness. You see? So if somebody is too detached, it's not ready for the devotional skills. And somebody is too attached, then he's ready for what? Demigod worship. Right? Because he wants something. So in bhakti, one has to be equipoised. Na dveshtati, na kamshati. Neither hates, nor like kind of. Very good. If there is no vegetable available, the only vegetable which is available, then what to do? We have to fill the stomach, na? So we have to fill the stomach. Then we have two options. Either cook, spend more time, energy, or पेट भरना है. Shariram kevalam karma. Just for the feeding the soul together. One just accepts. But if that is not good for the health, then will that be a service to the body? By eating that, will it serve the body? No, because body belongs to Krishna. So we have to give to the body what body needs. It's service to the body. So if that vegetable does not suit, person will what? Request, make arrangement for another vegetable to serve what? Body. But not serving the taste buds. Okay? But if there are two vegetables, and if somebody likes one vegetable, what's wrong in relishing Krishna Prasad? It's Krishna's mercy. So not that we have to just, जो नहीं पसंद है वही करना है. No, सुसु कम कर तुम अबे. Bhakti is like a relishable thing. Devotional service filled with relishes, different services. Whichever service one likes, one does that. But every time one does what only one likes it. If there's a demand for something when nobody is there, right? And that is being requested, then what we do? No, let me do what I like. It's fine when you have a choices. But when there is a demand, there is a need, then what will one do? We'll take to that. Even that will become more relishable then. Why? Because we justify the needs. You know? One who is fully Krishna conscious is always is always a renouncer. because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his action. Such a renouncer dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in relation with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is the part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is qualitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is in quality, yet one in quality, yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, neither having nothing to aspire or to lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from the platform of dualities is liberated even in the material world. Sankhya yogo pritag bala pravadante na pandita ekamapi asati tasanyogam ubayor vindate phalam. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, that is karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. So Sankhya Yoga Pratak Bala. Bala means those who are foolish, childish. So they speak that Sankhya Yoga. What is that Sankhya Yoga here? Jnana Yoga, right? Sankhya Yoga Pratak Bala Pravadantina Pandita. Sankhya, that is Sankhya. And Yoga means Nishkam Karma Yoga, right? So those who are like child, they less intelligent, they speak that Sankhya and the Nishkam Karma Yoga, both are what? Different. Only the ignorant speak of this are different. Those who are actually learned say that one who applies himself well to one of these paths achieve the results of both. Why? Because the end result is one has to reach to that platform. The aim of analytical study of the material world is to find the soul of existence. The soul of the material world is Vishnu or the super soul. Devotional service to the Lord entails service to the super soul. One process is to find the root of the tree, and another is to water the root of the tree. The real student of the Sankhya philosophy finds the root of the material world, Vishnu, and then in perfect knowledge engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, in a sense, there is no difference between the two because the aim of the both is Vishnu. By Jnana Yoga, one tries to find out who the Supreme Lord is. But in Bhakti Yoga, one already understands who is the Supreme Lord and performs devotional service, like watering the root of the tree. Because ultimately, even after understanding who is the Supreme Lord by the Jnana Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, one has to end up in what? Devotional service, to water the root of the tree. Isn't it? So result is the same. So in that sense, both are same because the result is the same. Sankhya Yoga yat Sankhya prapyate sthanam tat yogerapi gamyate ekam sankhyaṃ ca yogam ca ya pashyati sa pashyati. One who knows that the position reached by the means of analytical study, that is yat sankhya prapyate sthanam, can also be attained by devotional service. Tad yogerapi gamyate. And who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level. Ekam sankhyaṃ ca yogam ca. One who sees this, they see the thing as they are. Ya pashyati sa pashyati. So the real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. Since the ultimate goal of life is self-realization, there is no difference between the conclusion reached by the two processes. By Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that every living entity is not only a part and parcel of the material world, but of a supreme spirit whole. Consequently, the spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His action must be in some relation with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he actually is in his constitutional position. In the first process, that is Sankhya, one has to become detached from the matter. And in the devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of the Krishna consciousness. So that's how in Sankhya Yoga, in Jnana Yoga, one has to first detach. And in Krishna consciousness, one has to attach in service of Krishna. In recently one seminar, pre-marital seminar, which was held for the unmarried boys by Dwarkadish Prabhu, one boy asked a question. So they were discussing on what are the fear of getting married. Why the people fear for getting married. So one boy replied, may get attached. May get attached to the wife. Right? In Vyasta ashram, somebody may get attached. So then what reply Prabhu and Mataji gave was, it's better you first get attached. To be detached, you first need to attach. Then you should understand that one should not get attached. But attachment तो आए, attachment ही नहीं आता है. Huh? Then how will one understand how to be acting with detachment? Okay, some level of attachment is not wrong. Otherwise, पड़ी नहीं है. There is no affection only. Then how will the life go on? Both are coming together as a partner to lead whole life, and they are fear of attachment only. पहले attachment आए तो सही, पड़ी नहीं एक में को. So when somebody talks of detachment from this material world, that means they are not understanding that how this thing is, everything is connected to Krishna. Right? If one out of hatred and desire understands it as an energy of Krishna and uses it in service of Krishna, and that is real detachment. Otherwise, one thinks, oh, this is good, this is bad. Ultimately, in this material world, everything is bad only. Yes, sir. Yeah, so some attachment in the sense that person fulfills his responsibility of showing affection, care, and concern to the other person. Attachment has a negative connotation. So when you say some kind of attachment, it means some affection, some care, some love is needed. Otherwise, how will one continue throughout the life? No, without attachment, see, affection, when I say some kind of attachment, I say it as affection. That affection is needed. Responsibility, when we say responsibility, it is like less of, more of a duty. It's like a duty. And then there is no love. If it should be out of love. See, when somebody forces oneself to do something, there's no love involved in that. But when somebody lovingly takes the responsibility, willingly takes the responsibility, that shows that person loves that person. So in that way. Next point, clear?
Knowing that that's not the body, soul, is it as good as taking pleasure in the self? That would take pleasure in the self.
Yeah, if you understand ultimately that every living entity is a spirit soul, and then one realizes oneself to be the spirit soul, be situated in that knowledge, that initially to be situated in that knowledge, then working upon that. So because we have a conditioning of trying to seek pleasure from the things of this world, identifying with that, right? Once we identify ourselves as the spirit soul and trying to work upon it, then one tries to find fulfillment in oneself by focusing on oneself in the soul. right? In Bhakti, it is focusing on Supreme Lord, in relation with Supreme Lord. Understanding one as a spirit soul and our connection with the Supreme Lord as in one of the Swarupa, right? When one is fixed in one of the Swarupa in relation with Krishna, then person will derive happiness from one's relation with Krishna and will not derive pleasure or depend upon somebody or some things to derive pleasure. Then
here, who takes pleasure in the
self,
he doesn't have anything to do.
he does not have, still he does. Still he plays his role as if he is attached. He will treat his wife, his children as if like his pakka attached person. Now move around them, talk with them. Oh, you're so nice. I love you so much.
Is this something like a drama?
No. Why drama? He relishes that. Relation. Krishna has given a beautiful child, a beautiful partner, a companion. So relish, na? Krishna has given. What's wrong? Why drama? Relish. Test will come of detachment when Krishna takes away. At that time, what will person do? कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. He never loved that person then. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता तो means he was doing drama. That person will cry because misses that person, but does not stop connection with Krishna, remembrance of Krishna, gratefulness to Krishna, surrender to Krishna. He'll not say, "Hey Krishna, kya kiya?" You know, some people, when the things they are attached to taken away, they blame Krishna. ऐसा क्यों किया मेरे साथ, ऐसा क्यों हुआ, what happened, क्या किया मैंने, कृष्ण ले लिया. No, that person understands it's Krishna's wants, it's his property, he took away.
Only the person of soul level, spiritual consciousness balance. He loves his child, his soul. That's why he's so attached. Whatever. So why the child next door? No, the soul. So will you be attached to the child next door the same way with attached to the child?
I don't think.
So that is answer because it's a soul.
Technically, he understands all are part and parcel. Technically, the verse which will come, कि ब्रह्मणि गनि रवि हस्तिनि सुनि चैव स्वपाकेन पंडिता समदर्शिना. A pandit, he sees even a dog eater and a Brahman same level. One is a Brahmana, one is a dog eater. There's a difference socially, but spiritually he understands that both have the spirit soul. Both are dependent on Krishna. He does not make distinction on the basis of the soul and basis of Paramatma residing on each soul. Basis of both of them dependent on Krishna. But socially there is a difference. So person understands, my child is a spirit soul, neighbor is also a spirit soul. Krishna has given my child, this as my child, to me, under my care. That person is not under my care.
There is no big difference.
That is the difference. So, if he is given under my care, it becomes my responsibility to take care. And if I have to take care, how will I take care? So lovingly. And parents may not take care lovingly. They may beat, because they don't understand how to behave. They don't see it's given by Krishna, it's their responsibility. But we who understand, it's my responsibility to take care. And how do I take care? Lovingly, with full emotion. If we throw that child with such emotion and love and care, that child will grow. And if taken away, we don't sit and cry. The cry will naturally come, right? Because we have emotions and all. We'll cry for some time, but does not give up the service to Krishna. Because Krishna gave and at one point took away. That's a part of life. So Arjuna did cry when his son went away. Right? He did not blame Krishna. You are the Supreme Lord. You could have stopped that, but you did not do that. I don't want to fight. He could have done that, but he did not. He fought more rigorously. See? He fought more rigorously. He did not give up his service. That's how bewilders one. And we see that people who are devotional, they also work like normal people, family people. But the consciousness wise, they are fully dependent on Krishna. They understand who is Krishna. They understand their relationship with Krishna. They continue their service to Krishna.
So, for example, once taken away. So there is a void, because of which he is crying. Or
No, void means there will be some, for some time, there is some emptiness. But void you can't, because it's filled with Krishna. So that space is not gone. It is just something is missing for short time. Fulfillment comes with Krishna. Even when the child is there, that because that Krishna has given. That is the main criteria.
Let me say that person was completely filled with Krishna. Completely filled with Krishna. Even when the child is gone away, he is so filled with Krishna that he cannot feel that loss, because he's so absorbed.
Some loss will feel, na? That's also one. Some loss will be felt by that person.
Even by a very, very absorbed person.
Yeah.
Even for that person, the loss.
Yeah, some fulfillment, because it's connection, na, ultimately. That body has some connection, na? And that is suddenly taken away. Actually, person will feel. It's not like a kind of a virakta, harsh. That will be filled with gratitude towards Krishna. That remembrance, that missing. Because that's in connection with Krishna. See? That connection takes one closer to Krishna. Even when that child is present, in relishing that sambandha, one is grateful to Krishna. Not thinking that, oh, this is my child. Understands that it's Krishna's mercy. Therefore, in the way of taking care, one does not forget one responsibility of giving Krishna to that child. Every time the focus is on how I bring this child closer to Krishna. So focus is on that. It's not like completely absorbed in just playing with that child. Does whatever is needed and absorbs in one connection with Krishna. And that is shown how one is chanting, how one is following the regulative principles. Otherwise, a person is too attached. He will just think, oh, nice Krishna gave me. Now Krishna is one side, I and my child. Like a normal outside people.
So, it's of Bharat Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj, yes, exactly. See, Krishna remained one side. And on the name of responsibility, that person became so close, he gave up the devotional service. No connection of Krishna, means Krishna connection slowly swayed away, which actually should have grown. If somebody to share our emotions, our needs with some partner, our path towards Krishna should move faster, because we have got some companionship to share, push oneself together.
Prabhuji, on the same thought, Jad Bharat had that detachment. He made sure he had that detachment. Instead of relishing the relations and all these things ahead. So how will he did that detachment, right? Jad Bharat in his next life.
Next life, na? Because next life he understood when he got that birth, Krishna, by the mercy of Krishna, he could remember his past life. That why I became like this, because I got attached, overly attached. That remembrance, Krishna's mercy upon him, that he remembered that. And then he did not give up. Then he said, now I don't want to take that risk.
So Prabhuji, now a bit confusing. So we are saying that we should relish the attachment because Krishna has given us. Sorry, I got
Attachment itself is a negative connotation.
okay.
We should relish the attachment. No, whatever Krishna has given. It's not like if Krishna has given me this, so I relish. In Krishna consciousness, everything is happy situation. Krishna has given my child uh, top in the class, grateful to Krishna. But if Krishna has made him fail, I just see, is there anything I can do for bettering the situation? But not at the cost of blaming the Krishna.
I'm coming back to the example which you gave, that where you said that okay, pehle attachment banao and then you talk about detachment.
No,
How
no,
would
attachment banana means in the case of marriage, when that boy is asking, overly worried about detachment, about the attachment, right? That person has not even entered in the relationship and is fearing that in that relationship, what if attachment comes? Which is a valid, right?
Hmm.
So the point which Prabhu was telling is, you first get some attachment, some affection, right? For any relationship, right? One is going to stay whole life. So some kind of attraction or something is needed to go happily. Otherwise, just अभी क्या करें, अभी पड़ गया गले में तो अभी निभाना है. Means people do like this. Majorly people do like this. But why to do in that way? Why not relish the company and happily move in the journey? Why kind of take it in that way? See, one has to stay, right? One has to carry on. So why not carry on with a grateful heart, understanding that that never one can get a perfect partner. One understands that never one can get a perfect partner, because generally what happens, if somebody gains a partner who pays too much attention, and that person finds boring, and if somebody finds a very romantic partner, then he will have affair somewhere else,
so
right?
is it proper to think that to behave like a Jad Bharat so that we don't have any attachment and only detachment is there?
Behave like a Jad Bharat. No, Jad Bharat was kind of that extreme example is given. In case of Jad Bharat, such an extreme example is given that even at the point of Bhava stage, he was at a point of Bhava stage, and then there
It
he
can
was attached.
deteriorate. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so it's very rare to, one reaches to that stage and then gets attached. So such
Hmm.
extreme example is given so that this shows that cautiousness. One has to be so cautious that such extreme example is given that even at the bhava stage, see, he left everything. He left whole kingdom and all, and then he went there. So rarely after giving up something, person will get attached to. But to prove that even at that stage, if some small thing one gets attached to can lead one, that example is given.
For example,
Got it.
the absence of fear is not courage.
Hmm.
This absence of fear is not courage. Unless real courage is knowing what is wrong and then coming over to this attachment. Unless you know what is attachment, you cannot come to complete detachment. The balance has to be somehow.
So,
We are kind of pointing out certain persons romantic with the present.
romantic in the sense, not that he has, but like somebody who is like always uh, एक सब कुछ हाँ बोल देता है तो बोरिंग लगता है, और एकदम कट्टर रहता है तो फिर that kind of, I don't know exact words.
If we say yes to everything to the spouse, that spouse may have. So that is also.
No, not in that way. Not in that way. I forgot the exact words. Like what I want to say that is there's nothing like a perfect match. No? Like it is like if somebody who is like uh, agreeing to everything, one finds it very boring. सब कुछ yes भी हाँ 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 बोलते क्या, तो क्या बोरिंग है, थोड़ा सा तो मना करो, थोड़ा सा तो मस्ती करो.
Like the party actually.
हाँ. Yeah. Yes. Text which verse number? You say verse number. Okay, point 2. Okay. Yeah.
Status of the spirits.
Yeah. Act in the status of a spirit soul means act with the consciousness that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Yeah, if we have a theoretical knowledge that we are the spirit soul, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. But we behave as if we are like a body. So that theoretical knowledge was of no use if we have not put into practice. Yeah, like in the temple we come and we hear we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. Right? And then once we are out, we are again like a normal human being fighting for what I like and what I dislike. So then where is the action based on the understanding that we are spirit soul?
It's like clouds that you can have a sleep. From status of spirits. What is the status?
Yeah. So acting based on the spirit soul is when we come to the temple, we hear we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. We read Gita, we understand that. But that theoretical knowledge will not do unless and until one practices on the platform of being a spirit soul. So our practices then should involve the activities which are non-attached, like chanting, hearing, selfless performances of service without expectation, without possessions. Because one may come, one may like to hear the lectures, nice, and then go, not chant, not do selfless work. So where are we acting? And then we say that, yes, I am getting the knowledge. Right? We are different from those who are working outside. But then we neither chant, we neither serve. Then what is the action based on the spirit soul? Right? Where is the difference? Because then we are also working outside, we are also using money for eating, all these things. What is the difference? It should come in the action. People may say that, oh yeah, Krishna came in my dream, Prabhu, Krishna came in my dream, and I saw that and also. How do we understand? Based on what you do after the dream goes away. It should come in the action. Nah?
Like say at the stage, there's a karma, then you see what you can get out of that karma. What is the result you can get. But doing karma just for the sake of karma is better than doing it for particular result. Doing karma just for the sake of doing karma better than doing it for a result. So can the same rule be applied for knowledge? That a person tries to get knowledge, then he wants something out of knowledge. Maybe a higher state is just getting knowledge for the sake of knowledge, not because what you can get out of it. Because some people like you may talk about something, I may be interested in that subject. If I ask you, for instance, that you would like to know about it, well, I know cases. I know a case where somebody asked about, he wants to understand what the person is talking. He said, why you want to understand? You don't really want to do it. So he just wants to understand.
Yeah.
It's not because is that bad thing to understand something just for the sake of understanding?
Yeah, because see, knowledge, it's also one yagya. Acquiring knowledge, it's one yagya. Why? Because person has to put time, energy, use intelligence in an analytical way to understand the things, to gain that perspective. Right? So it's one yagya. But then yagya should end in what? In knowledge. No, that yagya itself is action. Yagya itself is an action. Because person is putting time, energy to understand, discussing. Yeah, so that knowledge should end in what? End in knowledge about Krishna. This understanding. See, understanding here is a knowledge, seeking knowledge, gaining information. So, after gaining that information, if that person just wants to understand but not apply, then what is the use? Because ultimately, that application should lead into the satisfaction of Krishna. Gain the understanding that we are part and parcel of Krishna. And that understanding can come only when we apply this knowledge, this information that person is getting. So that person may just take our time and try to understand the thing. And then sitting with others, he may discuss, oh, I think it is like that. Oh, I think it is like that. But when it comes to practical application, okay, now we are seeking information. Would you chant? Like somebody is taking information from us, we request them to chant. Otherwise, just taking the knowledge of different subject and going out and speaking somewhere and showing one's own greatness, what is the use?
I was talking in context of a particular incident which had taken place a few years back. That somebody was going to some person in Delhi. That person was charging almost 18 lakh rupees for a year just to give some business knowledge. 18 lakh rupees. Many people are joining. Some retired person asked him, "Baba, आप वहाँ पर गए, क्या आपने सीखा? What have you learned new? So you've been in business for a very long time. What new have you learned by doing 18 lakh rupees per year?" That person replied to this retired person, "Why do you want to know? Do you want to do business?" So I was thinking that getting knowledge just for the sake of knowledge, is it bad? How do you understand this particular case? Was the person right to tell him, why do you want to know, why you want to do business? Was that person right to understand? Well, I had done this in the past. Now I'm not doing it, I'm retired. But what you knew that person is speaking for what? So is the person wrong to inquire? What have you learned new thing over there?
Oh, this is just something related with the business thing, and that's the curiosity. And this curiosity is placed in the place of material situations, right? Somebody is teaching something and charging 18 lakh. Oh, so what's that? Is that worth? What is he teaching? So that's the curiosity. Yeah, so that's the curiosity, just a curiosity. Nothing spiritual about it.
Right.
And this curiosity is there everywhere. In whichever area one may be interested in. Like in a college, if this boys are talking about, "Arey, why you went to that girl? Who notes क्यों मांगा?" I mean, out of just curiosity. Similarly, here is a business curiosity. So it is curiosity in the field of material. And that curiosity is always there. It will not lead to something higher. Even if that person would have asked. Now he asked him, why you want to know? He could have told, yeah, these are the few points. And that person would have got that information. He could have inquired a little bit more. And if he had got that interest in that, he could have joined that. But ultimately, it's in the realm of the material field. It does not come under the knowledge point. Swadhyaya jnana yagyasya, that yagya, in yagya, the point is something higher. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means related to the scriptures. Swadhyaya jnana yagyasya, reading about the scriptures. That is the yagya. Because ultimately, yagya is for satisfaction of Krishna. And how is the yagya leads to the purification? Because Krishna is present in that. We saw that cycle, that annad bhavati bhutani parjanyad anya sambhava. All the human beings are dependent on what? Food grains. Food grain comes by rain. Rain comes by performance of yagya. Yagya karma samudbhava. And that yagya are because of the performance of karma. And that karma samudbhava. And that karma comes from where? Brahma. Brahma means scriptures. And that scripture is from Akshara Brahma, from Supreme Lord. It's a breath of Supreme Lord. Therefore, Sarva, Brahme, all these acts, Yagya, Brahma, Lord is present in all the activities, in all the Yagya. In all the Yagya, Lord is present. Therefore, it does not bind one. When somebody performs the Yagya, it does not bind one. One gets freed Why? Because Lord is present. Why? Because the karma one performs is given in the scripture, that one performs. So yajna, scriptural actions. Brahmachari, Grihastha, they are all performing scriptural actions. This person going to the business and the person who is attending training, it's out of sense gratification. How will I get more money? Nothing related with the scriptures. How is Lord is not present in that topic at all? Lord is not present in that topic. But if a guru advises him, go and now learn. There is one brahmachari who went to IIT Mandi and studied PhD. Just recently his paper got approval and he'll get the degree. So now he's considered a brahmachari. Everything he left to perform devotional service, and why he's studying? Why he wants PhD degree? For the sake of preaching, wherein people with some PhD doctorate degree, they can influence the curriculum of this country, then they are told, okay, you get that degree so that that weightage will be there. So goal is what ultimately to spread message of Krishna. For that purpose, somebody is doing. And for that, he has to now, there he will not be reading scriptures, he will be publishing the papers and whatnot. But then ultimately the goal is what? Krishna is present in that. So that becomes yajna which is pleasing to Krishna. That will freed one. Instead of binding one, it will freed one.
This type of book which I mentioned, the person who is kind of a preacher, the Krishna conscious person, likes to talk and preach to people. If you understand the final aspects of business, he can just get the knowledge. Sometimes when he clocks in front of circle, that circle will be
in the field.
By this person. Business knowledge. Then he can start talking about Krishna.
Yeah.
So that also can be used.
Yeah.
Krishna consciousness.
See, if it is like growth in the one's own field of, so for Shariram Kevalam Karma, for sustaining this body, one has to act. Right? In that field, in the growth of one's own field, is somebody to grow, studies that, nothing wrong. No? He's not doing, leaving aside Krishna consciousness. He's not leaving aside Krishna consciousness and fully getting involved in it. It's a part of his profile, wherein he's trying to gain more and more knowledge of that field. Right? Tries to gain more knowledge, that's perfectly okay. But if he leave aside this, focuses more on that than this, then it's like swinging away for gaining more and more wealth. Yeah, exactly. Because human life is very important. One has to spend more time this.
You know the prescribed duty of brahmachari? Brahmachari have prescribed duty?
Of course.
What is that?
Serve as per the Guru's instruction. And ISKCON, the main aspect is given to all, applicable to all, not only to brahmacharis, but to grihastha also. Chant holy names, follow 4 regulative principles. So the devotional only. No? So instructions are devotional only. It's not like for brahmachari we have something different. Even for grihastha ashram, it's a devotional activity only. It's not like that one varnashram thing about the different for that you perform this. No. Everything becomes devotional service. Because it's done on the order of Krishna, on the order of Guru. So Guru gives us whole day schedule. Follow this, get up, attend this, chant, and do one's work profile, whatever it is a grihastha or is it ashram, perform one services. So that's a part of devotional service. The same or ashram things are same devotional things. So it's for everyone given. When one stays in brahmachari ashram, then morning thing is fixed. After that, service, whatever. And for grihastha, taking care of one's family by going out and serving business and all. And then once done, focusing back into the service of the mission, devotional aspects. Any other questions? So now, so we read verse number 5, which says that sannyas, yat sannyasam, yat sankhya prapyate stadam, tad yogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha ya pashyati sa pashyati. That same one process is about the detachment from the matter, that Sankhya, and in the devotional process, one has to attach himself for the work for Krishna consciousness. Verse 6. Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkam aptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma na chirena adigacchati. Merely renouncing all the activities yet not engaging in devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. But the thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the Supreme Personality without delay. So when one does perform the Nishkam Karma Yoga, in due course of time, right, one will get purified. Achirena Adigacchati. There are two classes of sannyasis, or a person in the renounced order of life. The Mayavad sannyasi are engaged in the study of Sankhya philosophy, whereas the Vaishnava sannyasis are engaged in the study of the Bhagavatam philosophy, which affords the proper commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. The Mayavad sannyasis are also study the Vedanta Sutra, but use their own commentary called a Sharirika Bhashya written by Shankaracharya. The students of Bhagavad school also are engaged in devotional service of the Lord according to the Pancharatriki regulations. So yes, so this Pancharatrika way of worshipping, brahmacharis, we worship based on the Pancharatriki way, not a spontaneous way when it comes to devotional service. Right? We worship as if we are worshipping the Narayan. Right? Pancharatriki way of worshipping. And therefore the Vaishnava sannyasis have multiple engagement in the transcendental service of the Lord. The Vaishnava sannyasis have nothing to do with the material activities, and yet they perform various activities in their devotional service to the Lord. But Mayavad sannyasi engaged in the study of Sankhya and Vedanta and speculation cannot relish this transcendental service of the Lord because of their studies become very tedious. They sometimes become tired of Brahman speculation, and thus they take to the shelter of Bhagavatam without proper understanding. Consequently, their study of the Srimad Bhagavatam becomes troublesome. Dry speculation and impersonal interpretations by the artificial means are all useless for the Mayavad sannyasis. The Vaishnava sannyasis who are engaged in devotional service are happy in discharge of their transcendental duties, and they have the guarantee of ultimate entrance into the kingdom of God. The Mayavad sannyasis sometimes fall down from the path of spiritual self-realization and again enter into the material activities of philanthropic and altruistic nature, which are nothing but material engagement. Therefore, the conclusion is that those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness are better situated than the sannyasis engaged in the simple speculation about what is Brahman and what is not Brahman, although they too come to Krishna consciousness after many, many births. So here we find the difference between the Mayavad sannyasis and the Vaishnava sannyasis.
प्रभु जी, it feels like कि इसके ऊपर एक क्वेश्चन आएगा एग्जाम में ना?
Oh no. Exam. Now what we'll have, this being a unit test, is for 5th and 6th chapter. So 3rd and 4th next week I will give multiple choice questions or one line question. It will be a simple unit test because at the end we'll have a proper test, 100 marks weightage, 80 marks will be the weightage, and for unit test it will be 20 marks weightage. So this in the unit test We'll give now a simple, easy for me to test also, check also. So next week, actually today only we wanted to take exam, but I have not fixed a paper. So this week I will give the paper. You can solve multiple choice question, simple, one line.
Prabhuji,
Yeah,
previous exam marks you have not released.
I will give that. I'll give that. I have to check it. Wrong answer questions now. So this time I am keeping it very simple. Maybe online only the result can come once you enter. But I may ask one line question also, so I have to check it, one liner. But if it's a multiple choice, then immediately we'll get the result. So you continue your studies, and within the next week, anytime you can take it. Okay, na? That is fourth and fifth exam. And for you take weekday or weekend, up to you.
Same like
Yes.
45 minutes ka pattern.
Not 45, 15, 20, 30 minutes max.
Okay.
So, next week I have to take IDC course in temple, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday whole day, morning till evening.
Sunday there is no class.
We'll see if somebody can take. Or else now 440, na? 7 verses are over, 29 verses are there. I have 2 periods for this to complete, this week and next week. So maybe I'll tell somebody to complete that 5th chapter. So then 6th chapter remains. I'll see how it is. Or else I'll cover in the other sessions. Like if I cover today, say till 15th verses, then another 14 verses will remain that I can cover later on. Or if somebody on my behalf comes, that is also fine. Na? So next week, anytime you can take exam. Okay? If somebody wants to come offline and give, that's also fine. Somebody wants to take online, that's also. Because I see that not all are available offline. I would prefer one shot, everything comes. But I see many devotees, they are like not able to come to the temple, take the offline exam. So then I have no choice than to keep online. For me, offline becomes easy, in one shot, everything.
So, Prabhuji, so next week we can come, we can decide to be devotees together. We can come and anytime come and give a paper
Yeah,
and
I
test.
will suggest that everybody come offline one day. Yeah, everybody here. I would suggest everybody come one day and date will fix next week. Everybody come offline and give the exam. And if somebody on that day busy, then can take online. But otherwise, if everybody can come one day, maybe on Sunday only like this. Sunday before or after the. Yeah, before or after, give the exam. That would be wonderful. We can fix that day next Sunday only, right? But if somebody is not able to, then they can take it next day, Monday or Sunday evening, Sunday night. In that way, one day we can finish off. So we'll see. I'm yet to fix based on how many questions come up. 25 marks, some 25 marks maybe.
Oh, Pramuji, we are from off station, like I'm from Pune, so like on same day we can take online, is it?
And therefore, I'm thinking somebody not possible, someone to not come, then you can take online. I would prefer same day only you finish off. When everybody's
Yeah.
taking here, same day you finish it off. So that then on that day, like everybody messaging me, Prabhu send the paper, I'll send them online, conduct your offline. So then Monday, Tuesday, devotees don't ask again for the question and like whole day for whole week my remains in that. To avoid that, if everybody can take on Sunday, well and good. But some genuine cases, Sunday, this thing happened, that happened, then 1 or 2 cases can be taken later on. But if I give everybody the opportunity, then people will like, oh, I feel I can take like this, So then, so I would request everybody take on one day, same day, Sunday go.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sunday is good.
Okay, let's continue verse 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitindriya sarvabhutatma bhutatma durvanapi na lipyate. So one who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses is very dear, is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma, vijitatma jitendriya. So vishuddhatma, that is a purified soul. Vijitatma, that is a self-control. The senses are controlled. Chit indriya, having the sense, conquered the senses. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma, he becomes dear to everyone. Kurvan api na lipyate, even though he is engaged in all kind of work, he never gets entangled. In the middle of the purport, Prabhupada mentions, because one who works in the Krishna consciousness is servant to the all, he is very dear to everyone. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. And because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna, nor is there a chance that he will engage his senses in the matters other than the service of the Lord. So he does not hear, he does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. And he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. Man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. Now, somebody may ask that why Krishna was offensive. How can Arjuna, without getting angry, can kill? Wasn't that an offense? So Arjuna was only superficially offensive because, as he has already been explained, as has already been explained in the second chapter, all the assembled person in the battlefield would continue to live individually as a soul cannot be slain. So spiritually, one who was killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, only their dresses were changed by the order of Krishna, who was personally present. Therefore, Arjuna, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, was not really fighting at all. He was simply carrying out the order of Krishna in full Krishna consciousness. Such a person is never entangled in the reaction of the world. Purvan api na lipyate. Even though he was fighting, Arjuna was fighting aggressively, but still he was not binded by the reaction because he was fighting on the orders of Krishna. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तमन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् शृपन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन् प्रलपन् ऋषिजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्. A person in divine consciousness, although engaging in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is aloof from them. So there are working senses and then there are knowledge acquiring senses. What are the working senses? Hands, legs. What else? Nose. That is knowledge acquiring senses. By the noses, by what we do? We smell, we gain the knowledge. Hmm. So seeing by the eyes, knowledge acquiring senses is seeing by the eyes, hearing from the ears, smelling by the nose, touching by the skin, right? And tasting by the tongues. They are the actions of the Jnanendriya, right? And then moving by the feet, talking by the voice, excretion by the anus and the genital, and grasping the things by the hands are understood to be the actions of the action senses, karmendriya. So we have five karmendriyas, five jnanendriyas. By jnanendriyas we gain knowledge, and by karmendriyas we work. Hands, legs, mouth for talking, and genitals, anus and genitals for excreting. Right? These are the karmendriyas. So now here, one thinks that the cause of all this is senses coming in touch. Right? So worldly thing, senses, action, right? And it's a product of the pradhan. So pradhan is defined as a primal force, form of unconscious matter from which the elements, senses, sense object, minds, and false egos are generated. In creation, from pradhan, everything is created. Right? So when a devotee, so when the Lord teaches, Lord in this verse teaches that the pure Atma is not doer of anything, any action. It depends on the five factors. In the 18th chapter, we saw that Adhishtanam tata karta karamancha pratagvida bahuda chesta, right? Four things. And then daivam. These five things are needed for any actions to be performed. For anything to happen, five things are needed. Karta is one, doer. Spirit soul, karta, is the one factor. Supreme Lord is the main factor. And rest all are body, senses, which is given by the nature. Right? So when karta, when he's performing the work, he sees that these are being performed by body, by mind, by my intelligence. Right? I as a spirit soul is not actually doing anything. It is just my tongue which is desiring something, so it is eating. I am not involved in that. But then technically speaking, soul's involvement can't be 0%. Because among the five kinds of karta, the five kinds of reasons, causes for anything to happen, karta is one, jiva is one. Because jiva ultimately, atma or a jiva, it has itself is defined by its power of ascertainment and contemplation, implying the doership. So contemplation and the ascertainment, one going for it, okay, let me go and eat. So that ascertainment, a contemplation by the jiva itself makes one the doer. One part.
Yes, with activity, that's the desire. What is the activity? Tell me the acting according to the desire of the soul.
Soul's desire is pure. Soul's desire is pure. So soul cannot impurely desire. How can you say that soul is the desiring? Initially the consciousness is pure. Right? We hear initially the consciousness is pure. But when that consciousness comes in the material platform, it becomes impure. And then with impure consciousness, when one performs, one gets entangled. And because of entanglement, one gets such body by which one acts and perform more actions. But ultimately, then it doesn't become out of control. Ultimately, the desire of the soul is always there. If the soul decides, can stop, can make a conscious choice. When can one make a conscious choice? When one is situated in knowledge. In reality, when one understands that what am I supposed to do? Who really am I? I am a spirit soul. I am engaged by this tendencies, which is my past impression. Because of my past impression, my mind is desiring this. See, what is soul thinking now? I am desiring this. No, now soul is out of in knowledge. What is desiring? My mind is desiring this. Because of my past conditionings, I have got this contaminated mind whose nature is to desire. The soul is thinking. And then soul stops feeding such kind of desires. So conscious choice of the Atma makes choice, Atma is one of the doer, right? But then ultimately, major doer is what? Mind, senses, and all, right? So when mind is desiring something, what Atma thinks? Oh, now this my contaminated mind is desiring this, but I should not feed that mind, or I should feed it in a restricted way. That means that person is following what? Scriptures, right? The process of devotional service. With that, when one performs, thinking that it's mind actually acting, it's my intelligence which is acting. I, as a spirit soul, I'm doing nothing. So, Pashyan, Shunvan, Strapan, Jigran. So the eyes is going and seeing beautiful object, and again it is seeing. And the person who is seeing is thinking, see how contaminated I am. My mind is getting absorbed. But I should not pay any heed to such. And then he restricts that. So while this is happening, eyes are going here and there. He is just saying, I am not doing anything. It is actually my senses are doing. He thinks in that way.
Does it not say that the soul is captivated by the material consciousness?
Ah,
Soul starts desiring material things. So he has got the free will to desire Krishna. He misuses his free will to desire material things. Say that.
that's why the person has come in this world.
So the soul is desiring material things.
Soul desired, we got contaminated at one point. Actually, in this light, in this some beginningless time, that happened. Right? Beginningless time, this thing is going on. And now, when person is situated in knowledge, understands that because of that misuse, have got into this, now I should come out. Now I should not pay any heed to these things which are happening. It is my mind which is contaminated, it is desire. I in knowledge now understand that I should have no other desire than to please Krishna. Right? That knowledge. When one implements, then the thinking is Naiva kinchit karomiti. One who is an yukta manyeta tattvavid. Tattvavid, one who understands the tattva. What is the tattva? Vadanti te tattvas yad jnanadvayam brahmeti paramatmiti shabdyate. Prabhupada mentions tattvavid. What is that tattvavid? Somewhere he mentions. Tattvavid means one who understands the three kinds of knowledge. Brahmeti, paramatmiti, bhagwaniti shabdyate. So when that tattvavid understands that, then he will think that it's only my eyes, tongue, these things are doing the things. I, as a spirit soul, am aloof to it. I have nothing to do. It's the
Prabhuji,
contaminated mind which is asking.
Prabhuji, so if we say like that, if we are in that knowledge, okay, this I am a pure soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and whatever I am doing, I am not doing. My mind is doing. My senses are doing. So we will not get the reaction of what we are doing.
We will not get what?
Reactions of what we are doing. If we say that I am a pure soul, I am not doing. My mind is doing. My senses are doing. So the reaction will not get the reaction of that action.
No, one has to be cautious of what am I supposed to do. Person will, and when mind is thinking, he'll become an observant. He will become an observer. Oh, my mind is thinking, desiring this. But is it as per the, will that thing take me to closer to Krishna or not?
Okay.
Will that take me closer to Krishna or not? Like one time when I started initially coming to this ISKCON, Saturday, Sunday, I would stay in the temple. And then I would go back to my office, L&D Infotech. And then one fine day while washing the hand in the bathroom, restroom, I was singing some song. Some people have a habit, picture ke gaane gaate hai, knowingly, unknowingly. So while washing the hand, I was just drying my hand and I was singing something. And somebody opened the door and I just became silent. I became aware. So till now, I was not like, just like routine, But when somebody came, I just became quiet. And then I became aware what happened. Is why I kept quiet. Then I realized that I was singing Kirtan. You see, I was just taking Kirtan, Hare Krishna Kirtan. Why? Because Saturday, Sunday, I was fully in the temple, full day Kirtan. So Monday, it's just came. And because somebody else who has come may not appreciate it, so I just stopped it. Huh? If I would have been singing filmy song, it does not matter, right? But now I am becoming aware of somebody's presence and what I am doing it. So till now, when nobody was there, I was in my Kirtan mode. But when somebody came, just I became aware, like observant. Oh, I'm singing Kirtan. And I became happy. I said, wow, knowingly, unknowingly, Kirtan came. And I said, oh, wow, it works. Means till now in the temple, I've only heard that if you chant Hare Krishna, then at end of the life, this thing will come. I have heard all this theoretical, but now I practically realized that yes, it's possible. Because you see, now it has come on its own. See? So here it's just realization, but if as a soul we observe, oh, what my mind is thinking, So similarly, now here it's a good thing. But suppose his mind goes thinking something wrong. And then we just observe, oh, what am I thinking? What my mind is thinking? But this is not good. So I should not do it. Not like, oh, my mind is thinking, let me relish it, do it. I am a spirit soul, I am not doing it at all. You see, so on the name of the being a spirit soul, one is getting involved in a thing and not making a conscious choice of what one should be supposed to doing it, which is not natural right now because it's not coming spontaneously, right? So spontaneously, if one is connected with Krishna, then they will always think of something spiritual or adhyatmic. But when something contamination things come, then one cannot say that, okay, my mind is doing it, so let me do it. No, one has to stop it. So that is the practice. That is the devotional sadhana. Because it's not spontaneous, that sadhana we have to do it. Yes. Can you on this? Looks like this has become. Yeah, this has become. No, its wire has come down. Okay, switch then. Switch on. Yes. Ataji, clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah.
It's given to everyone and everyone is given. How can somebody
Yeah, how can one become dear to everyone when somebody? Yeah, so because that person,
there's always somebody criticized. So even God. I must say, how can somebody think like what is the context they're speaking?
yeah, yeah. So when we say that somebody who is practicing sense control and totally dedicated to the Lord, he becomes dear to everyone. Why? Because Paramatma is situated in the heart of all the living entities. Paramatma guides that person. Paramatma guides that person. How? I'll give the example. Haridas Thakur, right? When he was in a cave, there was a poisonous snake who was also there. But that poisonous snake never attacked Haridas Thakur. Why? Because the Paramatma within the heart of the snake is guiding that Paramatma, not to touch. So that shows that all living being becomes this to them. Now you may say that example of somebody envious of Prahlad Maharaj, his own father envious, right? So in this world, for a devotee, say Yudhishthir Maharaj, there will be some people who may be envious, right? But as such, and that devotee does not become envious of anyone. There is no enemy for such devotees, right? They are neutral, nahi? They don't have enemy. Yeah, they don't have enemy. And others also, when we say that nobody is envious of that, envious people may be envious. But in general, they are dear to everyone. Yeah. And initially, the demigods are generally attached to their position. Because of their being attached to their position, if they see somebody practicing spirituality, they naturally become envious, jealous. And in fact, envious. Why? Because they try to send some apsaras to uh, distract them. Why? Because they think that this person is seeking spirituality to gain my position. He has swartha of gaining something. But so they send this. But when they understand that this person is really not into demanding some material gains, then they become dear to them. They become dear to, because they understand that this person is not my competitor. Because they are attached to their position, this people is not my competitor. He is like simply chanting, isko kuch chahiye hi nahi. And they become more dear to them. Here also we see, some people who are like, oh, maybe he is performing, he will take away my position. He will take away my program ke devotees. You see? He's speaking so well, he'll take my devotees. You see? But if somebody simply chanting, serving, he does not have any competition. Because what this person will do, chant nicely. Keep on chanting. Mera bhi round tum kar lo. No enviousness. Why? Because we understand that that person is not at all into position. But somebody is giving lecture nicely here and he is taking away my devotees also. You see, some becomes then concerned about that. But somebody is chanting simply, nicely, serving nicely. Let him do. So that person becomes dear to all.
So always working such a man is never in time. Always working the devotional service.
Uh, Can you say that devotee has got spiritual anxiety and a materialist has got a material anxiety? So, because if you see a situation where a practicing devotee of many years, hypothetically speaking, he loses all his wealth on a particular day. So, is it possible to think that he cannot have any material anxiety? Contemplate that this person cannot have any material anxiety. Anybody who loses all his wealth in one day, even if the devotee, he will have a material anxiety.
He will have an anxiety.
Material.
No, you can't say material anxiety. How can you say that is a material?
Because he's got nothing now. So he's lost everything.
He had the anxiety, he had the worry of how to take care. But he's not distressed with that. He's not lose his composure. Just like outside people, when everything is gone, मैं तो गया, मैं तो लुट गया, अब मैं गया, अब मैं गया. Devotee, no. Oh my God, everything has got lost. What should I do now? See, everything has got lost. What should I do now? I am not lost. He never says I am lost. Because in knowledge, now this has been gone. We'll contemplate why this happened, what Krishna wants to teach me, what Krishna wants me to do. He understands it's taken away by Krishna. But not give credit to the Krishna, thinking Krishna took away. Krishna galti kiya, nahi. In a positive way. What Krishna wants, why he took away. He wants to teach me something. Where I went wrong. Now what should I do? So if you think that as an anxiety, then that's an anxiety. But how can you say it as a material anxiety? Because material anxiety causes distress, trouble, suicidal tendency, which is not the case. He is grateful to Krishna. He never loses his faith in Krishna. He surrenders more to Krishna. Oh my God, Krishna, what should I do now? See, is that material? Out of anxiety is talking, but he's talking to Krishna. Krishna, what should I do now? Everything is gone.
Yeah, because I thought that we have some standards of material standards that he wants maybe AC every day, like condition for the body is such that he cannot stay without AC. Maybe he keeps some kind of food, which may be more costing much more. But that will not be that maybe अभी AC कहाँ से मिलेगा, food कहाँ से मिलेगा.
That's what. Now, Krishna, now this is not there. You are the caretaker. So he understands and he's ready for that. What the max can happen? The body can only go now. He's ready for that. Ready. So from start only understand that nothing is his. Whatever he's getting, Krishna's mercy. He plans accordingly, he saves, he prepares, he makes his financial freedom. He plans it well, not suddenly like. But in some cases, if suddenly happens beyond his control, he will just raise his request to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, what next now? You tell me. But it's not like I am gone. No, whatever. What next can happen? He's ready now. No AC, no food of his choice. He's ready for that also. Thinking, Krishna, if you want this, let that be. But he tries to find out what can be done now. It's not like, okay, now this has happened, now Krishna accept. No. Growth is always there. Struggle for existence is always there. But with a grateful hand, with a gratitude towards Krishna. What Krishna wants next to. He analyzes, has anything that gone wrong where he can correct now, save that situation, better that situation if possible, or accept, if not accept. Like Prabhupada, you see, was preaching, he tried, he got that Allahabad place and all, he tried all his best, but still not gone. He surrendered to Krishna. Fine, let me go out of that place. He went from there. Till he was there, he tried, he struggled, but did not happen. Fine, Krishna's sanction. Without Krishna's sanction, he accepted the hand of Krishna in that. He did not give up. Yes. Brahmani adaya karmani sangam tyakta karoti ya lipyate sa papena padma patrami vambasa. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by the sinful action as a lotus leaf is untouched with water. Brahmani adaya karmani. So here Brahmani means in Krishna consciousness. So Baldev Vidya Bhushan says that Brahmani means unto the Pradhan, which are the, from whom comes the body, senses, sense object. So it's not me who is doing it. Brahmani adaya, unto that Pradhan, the nature is doing it. So Brahmani adaya karmani. So it is being done by the nature. Brahmani adaya karmani sangam tyakta karotiya. And he himself remains attached, unattached from the results of the action. So sangam. So sangam tyakta. So sangam means free from the attachment and the possessiveness and the mindset of I am the doer. He continues his working in that way. So Brahmani adaya karmani, it's not done by it is done by the Pradhan. Sangam tyakta, giving up the results of the actions or the possessiveness to the results, or that I am the doer, gives up that mindset. Sangam tyakta karoti hai, one who does. Liptate na sapapena, he does not get connected with the sins. Liptate na sapapena padmam patram ivambasa. Just like if you pour water on the leaf, lotus leaf, it does not stick to it. It just falls away. In that way. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalerindriyerapi योगिन कर्म कुर्वन्ति संगम त्यक्तात्म शुद्धये. The yogi is abandoning attachment, acts with the body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses only for the purpose of purification. So he further explains the point of being detached from the actions by testifying that is the standard of conduct. So kayena means with his body, mind, and then with intelligence. And with purified senses, kevaler indriya. So kevaler indriya means with purified senses. Kevaler indriya rapi yogina karma kurvanti. So a yogi, a nishkam karma yogi, he performs kevaler karma kurvanti, he performs nishkam karma hoga. Sangam tyakta. Sangam means without attachment. Tyakta atma shuddhaye, for the purpose of self-realization or for the purification. He simply acts in that way with his body, mind, and buddhi. Yukta karma phalam tyakta shanti mapnoti naishtakim ayukta kama karena phale sakto nibadyate. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva, a steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruit of his result, becomes entangled. Yukta karma phalam tyakta shantim apnoti naistikim. Ayukta kama karena, one who is ayukta, one who is not detached, kama karena, or one who is attached to the results of his activity, phale sakto nibadyate, he gets binds by the fruits of those activities. So the same thing in a different way. One who is unattached, he gets freed, and one who is attached, he gets bound. Same meaning. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyaste sukham vashi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all the action, reside happily in the city of 9 gates, that is the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. Nai sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste. So by the minds, one gives up. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vashi navadvare pure de. In the city of 9 gates. Right? City of 9 gates, eyes, to nose, to ears, to nostrils. How many? 6? 7? Understand? So we'll stop here. We'll cover rest next Sunday, hopefully. ठीक है? जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.